when the unmanifest comes in to the picture. A person who is alive, if you like the person who was alive, dies, you're suffering because you never accepted death. But the truth is only one that ties everything. Again, the same problem. Einstein says, I have general theory of relativity, I have special theory of relativity. How do I bind together? That's why he removed the concept of gravity from people's mind. And then it's so fascinating to think that space can bend, time can bend, everything is plastic. And that plastic is you have to have plastic mind to understand the plastic. If somebody has never seen a plastic and have a fixed ideas, for him a square or a triangle is all they understand. They don't understand the plasticity of life. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the dance of life. I have a couple of friends, they're very fascinating, they're very extremely opposite. Wife has very fixed ideas. This is how it's gonna be. And husband is very creative. He's into art and very joyous. He mixes with everybody. Wife has like certain fixed criteria and things like that. It's always a friction. But ultimately, and I told him, I said, listen, you are the best. And I'm not saying because you are my friend. You know the way of life. After all, when was the last time you saw a square flower? Square flowers don't exist. Look around you. There is dance. Every figure that is created out of, we call particles, there is a dance of life. A beautiful shape of a flower, beautiful shape of a lotus, beautiful shape of the wings, the flow of the veins and the arteries in your system and all these things. It's just a flow. And that plasticity, it patches everything. When was the last time mother told the son that it's going to cost you this much for the dinner, right? Love says, forget about all that. I just love you. Love binds. Love cements relationship. Because relationship have fixed ideas. I have this and you have that and all that. That plasticity, we have to start bending our mind to understand all these things. And then only we can touch the two ends of the consciousness, manifest and unmanifest. So as our discussion goes, we have to start making our mind plastic. It is an achievement to have a plastic mind. It's a great achievement. Because then you start giving up your ideas, giving up your fixed convictions, you're giving up, so this is how it has to be. When was the last time there was a manual written on how wives should be? When you give up your fixed ideas, then even wives become acceptable, and even husbands, or vice versa, to complete the sentence. But that's how it is. Because we have dominating mind. We have fixed ideas. And whoever does not meet into that does not exist. But that's wrong too. So the spirituality makes you flexible. And that's the only way you can dance. Otherwise you cannot dance. The dance of life, you have to be part of it. Otherwise it's like you go into Navratri, sit there and watch. See how people are doing and, oh, she's doing good, he's doing good, this and that. That's no fun. Fun is being in the game, right? So that's how acceptance of the mind is very important. If you like day, you have to like night also. Then only you can enjoy the night also. Once you enjoy the summer, you have to enjoy the winter also. That softens everything. You have to find something in the winter that will tell you that even winter is beautiful. Because then your mind synchronizes with whatever is around. That's why Rajneesh had quoted one saying that मौसम वसंत क्या है? वसंत यानी मिजाज और मौसम के बीच समरसता. Whatever is the weather outside, if it synchronizes with your weather inside, that's true spring. Because how you're so happy in the spring, but the spring can be all the time for you if you synchronize with everything around. total acceptance. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. 100% acceptance of what life has given you, without any questions, without any complaints. That generates that plasticity, and that gets you ready for the dance. So, happiness and unhappiness are part of life.
It's natural.
Natural.
Yeah.
It is the creation of
Yeah,
nature.
it's
Absolutely. If you like happiness and do not like happiness, your ego is standing up to say that this is right and this is wrong. So the dual approach to the life is a mistake. But not realizing, like Haribhaktani is saying, that unhappiness is also creation of the nature. It is natural. Whether you call it God or not, it doesn't matter. You don't have to call God if you don't believe in God. But it is the creation of nature. Whatever circumstances have created, you have to accept that also. Not in a say that I have to accept. You're doing it. You're not doing a favor to anyone. You're doing a favor to yourself.
That's true.
So, our problem is that we try to hold on to whatever is in front of us. And that's where the suffering starts. So, in fact, what yogi does is, he does not only accepts everything, and he stops labeling the good, the bad, better, worse, night, day. For him, everything is an existence. Every event that happens in front of him is an event. It's not a good event, it's not a bad event. Our mind is like a label factory. You go to China, they say, there is a fake market we went in. There were so many t-shirts, they had no labels. He says, why these are without label? I said, whichever label you like, we'll give it to you. He says, all right, 2 minutes. The girl goes upstairs, put a boss or whatever label puts in. Okay, you're happy? Fine. So labels are our creations. Good, bad, ugly, whatever in between. It's our creation. And that's the stupidity. Because events don't come with the names on it. It's our labels, So for yogi, every event that's what it is. It's an event. For everything that around is just an existence. Existence, a play of existence. And that's what existence decided. That's how, Dada Bhagwan says, Je banyu hai chukado, and bhogve ani bhut. Whatever happens is a final outcome. In Supreme Court, once you have a case, you fight and lower court and medium court and higher court and finally highest courts, Supreme Court says this is it. Then what do? You're living in the land, you accept it. So say, banyu hai chukado, whatever has happened is the final outcome of the, so you accept it. And je bhogve ani bhul, whoever is suffering is the one who made a mistake of choosing. The mistake is not, again, don't consider that you made a mistake somewhere in the world. You made a mistake in your mind. You walked away from the consciousness. Consciousness never told you to choose. Choosing was your mistake. Not that, oh, I did this to you. And that's how all these karma theories plays on, right? In karma theory, they say, you must have done something wrong. That's why you have to suffer. Not like that. Your choosing was wrong. You gave importance to the money, right, at some point, and you got X amount of what you wanted, X times square, and it didn't happen, so you suffered. Now, that doesn't mean that you must have cheated somebody, that's why you didn't, that's childish stuff. Your mistake was you chose money over consciousness. The choosing is a mistake. Choicelessness is an art. That's what Krishnamurti says, that freedom to choose is a great freedom to have, but freedom from the choices is the ultimate freedom, and that's the ultimate dance of life, where you're not choosing anything, you're accepting everything, and not in a negative way, but with a positive energy. So, the clinging that happens by creating the labels, we are expressing our desires, our vrittis and vasanas, how a world should behave. And when you try to give labels and choose, you're expecting a life to behave in certain way. And that's called clinging. Clinging is the first klesha of Patanjali. We talked about it, 5 kleshas, right? The first mistake of a human being is choosing. And then he analyzed the whole thing beautifully. that why are we choosing? Okay, we accepted that choosing is wrong. Because we want the life to be perfect. We want to walk into the casino and the first slot machine you go want $1 million, but it does not happen. You want your wife to be the most beautiful. You want your husband to be the most handsome. You want $1 million income, whatever, overnight. All those things. We have desires and this and that. It's okay. So you're choosing. Things don't happen. And so you suffer. So agreed that your desires were the mistake. But why do we have desires? That is, he breaks down into the 5 layers of kleshas, right? The first klesha means the obstacle is rag and dvesh. Because you like something and you don't like something. Like we said, Bhogi always has 2 sides to a story. He likes life, he hates death. He likes carrot cake, he hates carrots. He likes this, he does not like this. He picks up things. So there's running between going towards what he likes and away from what he does not like. His life, the whole life goes on like that. So rag and dvesh, liking and disliking, creates the clinging to the life. Because if I was totally happy with what I have, why would I run to acquire something that I don't have? Running itself shows that you don't have in your mind what you need. You have $10,000 and Vijay always says you want $100,000. You know you're short and you're running after. And you say, what's wrong with that? Everything is wrong with that because the dawd, the running, is never going to end because guaranteed once you have $100,000, you're not happy. Then you want $1 million. It just goes on. We think that once we have 100,000, I'll be happy, but it does not happen. And that's the wisdom says that. Yogi says that the satisfaction has to be inside. So people may logically argue, but when somebody from the same material vision comes with him, he says, you are right. Shrenik is wrong. All this spirituality is wrong. You keep doing what you're doing. Because he himself is doing it. He's also in the same rut. So how is he going to say anything different? So all these concepts may be difficult to understand. But I had one friend of mine, they are in the manufacturing business for all this. They have a big business of manufacturing Indian snacks and things like that. And he comes and tells me, he says, he says, I'm just so tired. He cannot exercise. He has a lot of weight gain and things like that. And I said, why don't you, wake up in the morning? Oh, I'm so tired at the end of the day. And then I don't have to eat all day long, but as soon as I come home, I just break down and end up eating and this and that. And then next day, of course, I cannot get up and all these things. And I wish I had an 8 to 5 job. I mean, these are like multi-millionaires. Now he says, I wish I had 8 to 5 job so I don't have all these headaches and all that. So imagine, with all that, he's still not happy, of course. So I explained to him that I'm writing a book on spirituality and the weight loss. I said the concept of spiritual way to lose weight is to be happy with what you have. And I gave an example. I said, if I'm happy, I would not want to venture anything else. So you're making a mistake when you don't eat anything all day long. And when he comes home and mom offers the food or wife offers the food, he wants to finish everything. I said, instead of that, if you had a balanced way of living, whenever you were hungry, you would eat. When you're not hungry, you don't eat. Then at the end of the day, when you come home, you're somewhat hungry and you eat. Nothing wrong with that, but you're not going to be. So that level of satisfaction would be always there. It was difficult for him to understand that concept, that satisfaction has to be within. That satisfaction is something we have to grow our own. It's never going to come from outside. No matter how much we gain, satisfaction will be always eluding. It's going to keep on going because it is generated by the matter. Matter is finite. Matter has birth, growth, decay, and death. If I want one banana and then say one banana is not enough, it's making a parody. Just like banana, money also decays, right? But to give a parody that if I like banana was a currency, imagine, and I want to have one banana, you have 2 bananas, I want to have 1 million banana. Imagine what's going to happen in 3 days when my bananas start stinking. The same way, when the money keeps on stinking, after a while, it basically pollutes your life, and then ultimately you realize that you never was happy. So I'm just making a similarity that's how all these things, because it never creates satisfaction, never creates the santosh or the sense of bliss inside. For which, because you're dealing with matter. Matter has a finite existence. So even if you don't do anything about your money, inflation is eating up, right? You put it under the mattress. Save money, you take it out after 30 years. It was not whatever it was before. The whole world has gone, and they say, Grandpa, what are you talking about? You have $10,000. Nowadays,
nothing.
what is 10,000? Nothing. So that's the reality. So, so we were talking about the 5 kleshas. So the first klesha was the clinging to the life is wrong. If you want answers from life, is wrong. And that's because your raga and dvesh are there. And why do we have raga and dvesh? Because of our vrittis and vasanas. And vrittis and vasanas are created because of our I amness. My vrittis and vasanas are different than yours. I may have a desire to acquire money. You may have desire to taste every wine in the world. Somebody else may have desire to be the best performance artist in the world. Somebody may have desire to be the best spiritual leader in the world. Whatever. But everything will be based on your vrittis and vasanas. Because what you want inside and where you think the pleasure is. Whether you want dhyan or dharma. Pad ya paramatma. Desire is there to be something where you're not there, you're wrong. Because it doesn't matter what's your goal. You can make it a worthy goal by saying that, oh, I'm donating for the temple or whatever. But deep inside, you know you're looking for fame. So it doesn't matter. So as long as you are trying to get something, and you can be the reflection, you are the mirror, right? You ask yourself. So vrittis and vasanas could be different. When vrittis and vasanas are because of your ego. And ego is the final mistake that everyone is making. And that is because of avidya. That spirituality says that's the true knowledge of yourself, which is a formless entity, shapeless, sizeless, omnipresent, omnipotent. Consciousness is what we all are. All other thing is just a joke. And it's like you looking at your own kids playing Monopoly, and they're trying to grab everybody, they're trying to pull somebody's leg and this and that, and at the end that doesn't mean nothing. Ultimately this is dharamshala. How long are you going to stay here, right? So that's why we talked about that shairi, right? What was that? ए मेरे हम नशी चल कहीं और चल, इस चमन में अब अपना गुजारा नहीं, बात होती गुलों तक तो सह लेते हम, अब तो कांटों पे भी हक हमारा नहीं. Nothing is yours. Whether you have built a palace or you lived in a little hut, even that you cannot take it with you. So do not have a sense of ownership of anything. And ownership at the physical level is wrong. Ownership at the material level is wrong. Mind level is wrong. And at the idea level is also wrong. Nobody has to believe your idea just because it's your ideas. Even that is wrong. To shove down the concepts, even though I may think ahimsa is good, but if I'm forcing someone else to believe in ahimsa, is ahimsa by itself? So that's why Mahavir said that you can create violence at every level. And that was the very, very, breakthrough in the thinking of a human mind. Because we always call killing each other is the violence. And even people believe that nowadays. But whenever they want everybody to believe, they want people to convert into their religions and their philosophy and beliefs and all that, it's also wrong. Your ideas are your ideas, somebody else's ideas are somebody's. That's the true democracy. Not just say, okay, I'm voting and everybody has to. That's just at the democracy at material level. Democracy at the spiritual level is very difficult because their ego has to die. If I'm walking into my son's life or my wife's life or my friend's life, what right do I have to shove down the throat that this is what you have to also believe? This is my belief. If you like it, follow me, that's fine. But you have 100% independence to have your own logical thinking and come to your own logical conclusion. Who knows, it may be better than mine.
Correct.
So that's why, that's how non-violent you have to be at the ideas level, because that's when your ego starts dropping. Again, you're not doing for somebody else's, you're not doing any favor to someone else. Oh, I'm giving him or her a freedom. You're not doing anybody any favor. you're doing a favor to yourself. Because by giving freedom to somebody else, you're minimizing your own ego. That you are nothing in this huge universe where every single atom and every single subatomic particle has independence to behave the way they want. And then only a true creation can happen. Because otherwise, you throwing your ideas into somebody else's mind, and then where is the role for God? Where is the role for consciousness? Consciousness says, you are in my way, get out of the way. Someday you will be thrown out.